Aha! All the beauties. I do, and I'm just getting used to using it.
Ah, something new you just got?
No, it's a friend's. I just borrowed it yesterday.
Boy, it seems to be very modern, lightweight, isn't it?
It's very nice and awkward, and not particularly awkward to use.
Yeah, it's great.
So thank you for the nice dinner last night.
Yeah, that turned out
It was
well.
very nice of you to do that.
Can I put on my basket? Can someone look this way? Thank you.
You want a flower in your basket?
Yeah. Could I? That one wasn't really.
Would you like that? Get married.
What did Darcy say about how did If I ask everybody else, I'm off the hook.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're
She was good. Wendy went to the door. I am. I saw this little girl.
Very tasty, very
I should go to bed, I think.
I really almost didn't recognize you. You look so appropriate. We're feeding him.
Come
over, look at the camera, darling.
This one here?
Yeah.
That's a nice camera.
Ken, who's sitting over there next to your mother, right there?
Well,
That woman. Who is that?
This is family feud.
This is your mother? Everybody's so natural and relaxed.
Oh, absolutely. We can solve that problem.
For your brother.
Yeah, we were just because I talked to him yesterday and he's on a job. He's standing on the camera. That was close. Well, he was working with
Did I just do something to your camera?
Where's Julian can marry him?
that's right.
Yeah. We saw how he did. It was like on TV. He happened to be over at our house. He goes,
Julian, are you?
I've known her family. Ever since I was
Everybody, how you doing, Barry? Well, I you okay now?
Yeah. There you are. How do you do?
Did not go far.
the backing and I've got everything really getting there. I'll get Lisa up there when we can something put together. I bet she'd love to. I've got the whole thing together now. You haven't seen the rest of it. I need help.
Hey, wait.
Hi, everyone.
If elected,
Remember the old movies?
I'm sorry, but I'm photographing.
My belly?
this is it's moving. That's it. Laugh some more.
It's waving.
No, yeah, it's doing high. You should see me break dancing.
I bet you really cut loose these days. Anything.
Congratulations on you getting married.
David, do you have anything to say?
Yeah.
About them getting married?
No.
Jeff?
Oh my God, what do you mean no in such an unfriendly tone? Oh my God, David.
Oh, well, this is my nephew. It's all right?
And this is my Is that all right? Nice. Whose sister are you?
Harry. I was giving him a hug for my daughter. They're the same age.
I don't know, it looked like a hug from you to me.
And a hug from Kennedy. Watched him grow up. And I do want someone to shake him out. You know how? Be careful, it's very sensitive.
It's sensitive and natural.
But we're very natural. Sunglasses on, right?
I mean, I want you to know this is a permanent record, you know.
We have one of these.
Right. Did you want to say anything to Ken and Ariel?
Oh, this is a talking head, huh?
Yes.
Well, all I'd like to say is that...
Mazel tov. You know how I feel like a jerk years to come when you look at this?
Ken and Ariel, we love you. Happy
Do it,
wedding.
do it.
Happy wedding. Presentational magic, because we're representing the rope with Ken and Ariel. Their wedding, right? Kind of looks like DNA. It's the inside of the rope, and it's the spirit of Ken and Ariel. We got them right here. We'll have to save that, okay? Give it to him back later, okay? This one marriage, one piece of Ken and Ariel. Sometimes it's hard to tell who's who. Sometimes here's Ken and here's Ariel, but if you look at it like that, it's hard to see which is which. The problem, of course, is when they get together in the middle. And if you take the middle and put the middle between Ken and Ariel, so I'll cut it so that there's no problem, and now Ken and Ariel are separate. Wait a minute, but Ken and Ariel are supposed to get married, so we'll tie the knot, as it were, right? Tie the knot. So now we've tied the knot, and Ken and Ariel are together, except for the knot. Of course, if we could move the knot so that it was more to Ken's side, then Ariel would get upset. So we should move it more to Ariel's side, but then Ken would get upset. I got an idea. We'll just take the knot off and start again, okay? Wait a minute. Arguments are no good, so what we'll do is we'll tie the argument, right? Argument all tied. Well, I'll tell you what. I did such a good job on it. That makes sense? See, what we're talking about is Ken and Ariel, and if this is Ken and that's Ariel, and this is the source of their problem, right? See, this is Ken and this is Ariel, and this is the source of their problem. Problems into a knot, which is, I guess, what marriage is all about, isn't it? Tying the big knot. I call it the blow-away knot because, you know...
Oh, this is a fabulous scene. This looks like a scene, I just feel like I'm in India. He's walking through between the traffic and all that stuff. Hello, Rabbi.
Get hurt, Harry? Smiling?
Where do I stand? Well, what do you do? Daddy! That looks like you're...
What do you think? It looks beautiful. But she wants to know what's supposed to stand after she comes forward, right? You gotta understand what you're doing in the ceremony.
It's cut it, you have to
Yeah, you have to know which ends.
Do you want to stand with us during the ceremony? Or would you rather sit down after you feel the shadows? She's got the ring.
Okay, fine. Ring shell and purple light and here. Yes, passed from one hand to the other. A few more centuries went by. It became not a monetary purchase, which it was initially. Then it did a symbolic gesture, and so a gold coin was passed from one hand to the other. A few more centuries went by. Some felt the coin was too heavy to carry around, hollowed out the coin, and that's how you end up with the gold wedding ring of the modern ceremony. See? According to biblical law, that's all that was required of you. Just a simple exchange of a single token of value was sufficient to declare a marriage legal and valid. It was basically the same drama. The folks came together, they wheeled and dealed, they agreed on a bride price. Supposing, however, they didn't have sufficient cash on hand at the time, but they didn't want to let a good thing get away. What should they do? They would hurry to a table with a scribe, and there they would set down the terms of the agreement in the form of what we would identify as a promissory note, which then obliged both parties to deliver up those tokens of value on D-Day, which was delivery day, which is today. And at that point, the tokens of value would exchange hands. But the note, being a binding contract, was sufficient to declare that marriage legal and valid. The third way was known simply as bia. Bia means intimacy. If, according to biblical law, a man and a woman spent a night together intimately, they were considered, in the eyes of that law, legally married. So where appropriate, I extend my congratulations to some of you. Sometimes remember when you park a car for a quick getaway. I should hasten to explain the rationale underlying that, because it's altogether tender and wonderfully considerate. It holds that if you care enough for another person to be intimate with that one, you shouldn't wake up the next morning and say, bye-bye, I'll see you around. But rather you should stay around to nourish that relationship and make it strong and wholesome and enduring. All three aspects are now rolled into one. You still have the exchange of the tokens of value. In this case, it would be the rings, which Kenne and Ariel will exchange. You still have the contract now represented in two forms, the civil license on the one hand, and indeed a ketubah, a classical marriage contract, which the bride and groom have drawn up under their own authorship. And as to the third aspect, bia, intimacy, no marriage is fully consummated unless the bride and groom spend the night together intimately. That's without the videotape camera, friends, family. In the post-biblical period, the ceremony actually broke into two, and each piece then emerged as a separate and distinct ceremony of its own, now represented by one of these glasses. The first is called kiddushin. It means holiness, or what we would call rites of holiness. And the second took on the name nisuin, which means lifting up, physically lifting up. As to the first glass, kiddushin, the rites of holiness, we no longer use words like that in our working vocabulary, so to approach its essence, imagine, if you will, in the ancient temple, certain vessels were proclaimed as sacred. And from that time on, they were set aside from all the others and handled with special care and great concern for their preciousness and their beauty and their value. Similarly, during the ceremony represented by this glass, kiddushin, the rites of holiness, we try to do two things at the same time. First, we set aside one moment in time from all other moments which have come before in your life, and all other moments which will come beyond this point. And we make this moment special and precious and tender and beautiful and even sacred. And secondly, we set aside one person from all other people on earth and enter into a special relationship with that person, which we call the covenant of marriage. All that is represented by this first glass, kiddushin, the rites of holiness. Post-biblical law then required a very difficult thing of the bride and groom, and that was to return to the symbolism, which is the note. The first is the shelter, the home, the dwelling place where this couple will live as husband and wife. The second layer of symbolism in the chuppah, the wedding canopy, comes from the old canopy beds in the royal marriage chamber, where the royal marriage was consummated. Bride and groom are still regarded as royalty on their wedding day, and we are all their honored servants, obliged to fulfill any request they may make of us. And the third symbol of the chuppah, the wedding canopy, comes from the old mystical or Kabbalistic tradition, as it was called. The poets amongst the Kabbalists wrote that the wings of the Shekinah was the original expression they used. The wings of the divine presence of God are open wide to receive a bride and groom on their wedding day. So I shall ask you to do the same. Now you know as much about these two glasses as I do. Unite to bless this bridegroom and his bride. There is an old legend which says that all figures of all souls about to be born stand before God in pairs, each soul and each spirit consisting of both male and female. Then they are given to the emissary called night, forming as it were the right